So, Erin, tell people what we're talking about. We're conversing, but what are we talking about?
Oh, well, this year's Pete Huttlinger Guitar and Fly Fishing Camp, like last year, we've expanded it to two sessions. So one is fingerstyle and one is kind of a acoustic jazz week. And Pat and I have been trying to get together to have him teach for years. And so he agreed that his schedule would allow for the fingerstyle camp, which is the second week. And then last week I said, hey, you want to come out a little early, fish a little longer, and teach at the jazz camp? And he was all in. So it's like we're doing overkill. We've been making up for lost time, and now I'm really excited. He'll be with teaching along with Jeff Troxel and Sean McGowan.
Well,
We're pumped.
for those people that just kind of joined us, we're here with Pat Bergeson and Erin Huttlinger, and we're talking about the jazz, specifically the Jazz Week with Sean and Jeff, who we had talked about maybe a month or so ago, and added to that faculty is Pat Bergeson, who's been most recently he's been out with Peter Frampton touring the world and that's got to be a hell of a feeling, Pat, to be doing that. Talk about that a little bit.
What, but Peter Frampton?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah,
you
it's
got
super.
that call.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about it. It's not jazz.
I know that. I was going to ask you. So, you made your early bones playing with Chet Atkins. So
Hmm.
you were Chet's guy for like ever and ever and ever. And there's a bunch of video of you doing that. And so that's like, the whole Chet Atkins thing. If people don't know that style, then shame on you. You ought to know what we're talking about. And and then I mean that you did all the studio work, you played with everybody, you've been on the road with I mean just everything. And then the Peter Frampton thing is obviously Peter's a rock and roller.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's a whole,
and
yeah.
then you also tour with Bruce Foreman, who you put together this show that revolves around Chet's Super 4000 guitar that you own, and Bruce has got Barney Kessel's guitar, the original instruments. So these were both their personal instruments, and you guys tour and you're playing jazz in that. So I mean, I don't know about I know of versatile guitar players, but I don't know any more versatile guitar players than you at that level, playing with arguably the best players in the world like ever. I mean, Chet Atkins is when Tommy Emmanuel says that he bows down to Chet, and that's where it all came from. I mean, Tommy's as talented as any human on the planet, and so that says a hell of a lot about you, Pat. I mean, it's like you told me that you don't believe you get to play with Bruce, which is Bruce is amazing, but there's a lot of people who say I can't believe that I get to play with Pat. So
Well, that's really flattering, and I love hearing that. And I mean, I still can't believe it to this day. I mean, I still consider myself a student of the guitar. You know, um, you know, I must be good if I get to play with all these guys, but I still think I'm a student. I mean, I'm still learning things, and of course, that's why I like teaching at the camps.
right.
I love teaching at the camps because I'm going there, I'm like, man, I'm going to be stealing some licks from these teachers and the students. So, I mean, it's just, a lot of fun. There's nothing like the camps,
Oh
you know.
yeah.
I have to say that was one of the things I really admired about my late husband, Pete Huttlinger, was that he was a student. And like you, Pat, he always craved to learn something new. And about the time he passed away, he was really fully investing himself in gypsy jazz, which wasn't what he was known for, but he just worked on that. And he was playing clawhammer banjo and,
Yeah,
anything with strings and frets he would play, but he was always trying new, like he'd sit down with, and watch Jorgensen play. They were pals, but he would watch him play on YouTube and just like soak it in and, work on it for months and buy good instruments. That's a part of it. You have to have to have a fighting chance, a decent instrument to play. So you're not fighting it. But I loved that he was always a student.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that about Pete. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that very much about Pete. He was always trying to learn some new stuff, and he was always like, hey, what is that you're doing? He's always like, hey, what was that? And that was great, and I love that about Pete. And I'm the same way. I definitely, I just there's so much great music out there, and so many great, amazing musicians doing completely different things. Just all kinds of stuff. You can't live.
That's what makes you guys good instructors too, because there's a lot of great players who aren't great teachers, who don't know how to convey it. But I think if you're always a student yourself, you know what the other person needs, and you're a good instructor.
Right, and I enjoy it. It's very gratifying to be with somebody and teach them something, or to see somebody light up, and or somebody just be so grateful for, hey, thanks for showing me that, or this or that, or that's a really, really great feeling, and it's very necessary.
And sometimes it's the smallest thing. It's the
Yeah,
smallest thing. I've been fly fishing for a while, but 6 months ago I was on Martha's Vineyard, and I don't saltwater fly fish, but there was a woman giving a casting lesson, and she showed me one little thing about the positioning of my hand, completely changed my cast in a good way. And it's like out of nowhere, didn't expect it, but it was one small thing, and it can just open up a whole world.
right. Yeah, it can blow your mind, and that's another thing that I think that you are not going to get watching YouTube videos.
No.
There's nothing that can replace the guitar camp environment. Being with people, personally, one on one or in a class. That whole that whole scene is so conducive to inspiration.
Uh,
Like going on YouTube and watching videos. I mean, I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but certainly for me, and I could probably speak for a lot of people who've come to the camps, and that's why they keep coming back every year,
right.
because they love that, camaraderie with making friends, they hang out with each other, the students do, and they learn things from each other. They hang with the teachers, and it's just, everything about it is great. And now this will be my first time teaching at you and Pete's camp, so I'm very excited about it. And of course, we get to go fishing.
Not
And
just
it's the
you're not just going
Well, no, but I
fishing.
mean, yeah, but of course, in a beautiful environment. I've been to the place where you do the camp once.
yeah.
I did a show there with Susie Bogus,
Oh yeah.
15 years ago or something. It's a beautiful spot, and so yeah, that's great. But yeah, so I'm very excited about it.
There's something about being in a room with an instructor. I mean, you can look at somebody's hands and just, point to a finger, and you don't get that. You don't get that kind of feedback. And also, I'm reading all the students who are coming, I'm reading all their feedback because I send them a questionnaire. And I'm finding that not only are a number of them new to this camp, there's probably 4 or 5 people so far that have mentioned that have actually never even been to a guitar camp.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I mean, I like to think that we create an environment that really is, I mean, everybody's a little uptight when they first come, not knowing what to expect, but it is such a relaxed environment, and the instructors that I
Well,
choose always have the vibe.
you have two advantages. One is, you when you watch a YouTube video, which I think YouTube videos are, they have a purpose and all that great. But you watch a YouTube video and you'll do something and you have no idea what you're actually doing. I mean, well, why, and an instructor can obviously look at what you're doing and make those minute changes. You have to have live feedback. I remember when I took golf lessons years ago. And I remember thinking what I thought I was doing and what I was really doing, because I saw it, and so I didn't have any video, and then what the instructor had me do to correct it wasn't. I would have never. I could have watched videos until the cow comes home. I would have never have gotten any of that from trying to do that. When you got qualified instructor, but like here's the thing. I think that another big bonus in this is that you're going to be out in frickin', in Livingston, Montana, in one of the most beautiful areas of the world, and you can turn your frickin' cell phone off. You can leave your Wi-Fi at home if you want, and you can focus on chilling out and just being with the guitar and being with yourself. And I mean, that whole thing, the ability to absorb when you don't have all this other crap coming at you all the time, or the things that are coming at you are, how is that cast? I mean, that's a whole different environment. You're going to be with cool people, getting world-class instruction, doing probably, I mean, the coolest thing I can think of. And what is it? It's August 4th through the 7th, right?
Yep.
Livingston,
Right.
Montana. We've done a video prior to this talking about all of the, where it is and, who's going to be there and what all that going on. So they can check that out. We can certainly go through that again really quick, but I just can't imagine, a cooler environment, with, now that Pat, I mean, not that Sean and Jeff aren't great, they are great, but, Pat adds that extra dimension
Yeah.
to the whole thing.
Well,
One
those
of the
guys,
nice thing is too that you don't know who anybody is. Everybody shows up, everybody's the same. Everybody comes and you don't know if somebody's a doctor, a pilot, a landscaper. Like people come from all walks of
Yeah,
life, but you're all just the same when you come in that door and everybody, you know, they they bring their instruments and it's them and their guitar. And
that's
you're
right.
right, everything else is left behind.
That's right. And it's and in most of all, it's supposed to be about having a good time. It's fun. Guitar camps are
right.
fun. That's what it's all about. So anybody who is, has any reservations coming the first time, it's going to be fun. That's why everybody's there. It's not college. This
It's
is
gonna be it's
guitar
gonna be
camp,
it's gonna be fun doing
right? It's
doing
guitar
something
camp, but
right.
but really, the great thing about guitar camp too is that you can meet the students where they are in their development.
Right.
That's what I like to do. Like when a student comes in, there might be there's five people in a class. There might be two people who, can get around a little bit on the guitar, and there might be one or two who are a little bit further behind or whatever. And it's really not about that. It's really about, if you're a good teacher, you can size up the situation quickly.
Right.
You look at everybody and go, okay, this is where this person is at, and meet everybody at the level, meet them at their level, and
Right.
start from, and,
Well,
and show.
that's why we keep the numbers small too. You're right, because if you've got 100 people, it's hard to do that. But we have max 20 at
Yeah,
each week and two or three teachers. And so you really got a lot of one-on-one time and the instructors are like, on downtime and break time. If you've
yeah,
got an issue, everybody seems really happy to sit with one person and help them work through something.
yeah, yeah.
Well, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, interrupted.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, that's, having a smaller group of people it can be very good that way. Giving
Mhm.
people more one-on-one time. Somebody can stop you and go, "Hey, show me that thing you were showing me again." And you can sit with them and
Well,
help.
you're gonna get if you August the 4th to the 7th, you're gonna get world-class guitar instruction to whatever level you want to dive in. If you want to stay at the shallow end of the pool or you want to go swimming in the ocean, you got people that can take you wherever you want to go. That's up to you. It's totally, it's your thing, it's individual, which is great. In a world-class setting, you're going to be fly fishing in a world-class setting. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I'm sorry. It might be different than that, but it's not any better than where you're going to be. Um,
I
and
can give you a little quick picture of what the schedule looks like
sure,
in
go ahead.
that window of time.
Sure.
Uh, Classes start the 4th, but everybody comes in the day before, the night before, and we have a little cocktail party. And then we have 3 days of instruction and meals, and everything is on site at the ranch where we go, Music Ranch, Montana. But then it's the Thursday, the 7th, that we fish. It's an all day float trip with guides. two people to a boat, and we float the Yellowstone. And then we have a little beer and pizza and show pictures of fish we caught. And then everybody splits Friday morning. So that's just kind of how it runs through.
Oh, that's going to be so cool.
Yeah. Oh man.
I can't wait.
I
You have
can't
to come,
wait.
Bob.
I
You have
Uh,
to
can't.
come.
maybe next year. I can't do it this year, but I would love to. I gotta tell you, because I fly fished a lot. I mean, I've got 5 rods within about 10 feet of me over here. And
I'm not.
a
I've been
float,
a.
what?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Bob. I've been a fisherman my whole life. I've fished. My dad would get me and my brothers out of school from the time we were in third grade. He'd take us out of school for a week every spring and fall until we were in high school. But we'd go northern Wisconsin and up that way, Minnesota, and fish for
Oh yeah,
walleye,
I've been up there.
like muskies, and
Yeah.
all that. And
Well, and
but
even
I never fly fished. I mean, I did a little, but barely. So I'm still consider myself an inexperienced fly fisherman, although I've been several times. Brooks Robertson, who will be at the fingerstyle camp this year, who I'm looking forward to hanging out with, my good buddy. He's taken me a couple times and shown me, and I was up there in Yellowstone with that gig with Susie that I told you.
right, yeah.
Guide, and we floated down the Yellowstone, and I started really getting the hang of it. But I do it so infrequently that every time I do it again, it's like I'm starting over, and I'm like, and it takes me just a few minutes, and then I've got it down. But it's so much fun. It's like a whole different way of fishing than the way I grew up doing. So it's always a fun experience.
Well, a float trip down Yellowstone. I mean, that's high cotton, pal. I mean,
Yeah,
that's like, I mean, when I go over here to the Chattahoochee River, which is just outside of Atlanta, and what did the guy say that wrote all those books? John Craig. Anyway,
Girish, John Girish.
yeah, John Garish, standing in the river waving a stick. I mean, that's me. But good God, I mean, that's an amazing trip. So, uh, I just think to wrap it kind of up here, we're talking about the Guitar Campus, August the 4th through the 7th, and to get signed up and scheduled in there, and what do they got to do?
If you go to petehuttlinger.com, there's a tab that says camp, and all the information's there. You can reach me through that. And there's plenty of links you can click on that'll bring you back to me.
We have a link in Jazz Guitar Today magazine, that you can go there, and I think you can just go Pete Huttlinger guitar. You can get to it through there if you don't remember these other things. Just go to the magazine and look up camp. Just search camp, and it'll show up. And I just think first of all, I think it's a really cool thing that you're doing. Period, and I think it's a really putting together this event is a big deal. And I just can't imagine. I mean, I think everybody that's going to go is just going to have if you don't have a good time, it's just, you can't not have a good time.
Nobody's never not had a good time that I
mean,
know of.
the worst you can do is wonderful. Yeah. The worst you can do is wonderful. So it's August 4th through the 7th through in Livingston, Montana.
Yeah, if you don't drive, you'd probably fly into Bozeman.
Yeah.
That's the way to get there.
Is there anything you guys want to add to this before we cap it?
I don't think so. I'm just counting the days. I'm excited.
Well,
but I would say if somebody's interested, they should jump on it quickly because it is getting close.
Well,
that would be my.
Just so you know, so Pat, you're still out with Peter Frampton, still doing tours. You just finished.
Yeah, we're going to do another one in October. And I'm going to go record with him on his record tomorrow, which I'm excited about.
It's amazing. And then Bruce Foreman's coming into town for the Chet.
Bruce Foreman is coming to town this week for the Chet Atkins Convention. We're going to do some gigs this week. Rudy's Jazz Room this Friday at 5:30, and Chattanooga on the 12th, the next day. I guess it's the 12th.
Bruce doesn't come east all that often, actually. It's kind of comes to Nashville that much.
No, he's been coming every year, almost every year for the last 5, 6, 7 years or so. I mean, it seems to me he's been coming just
Yeah.
about every year. And
But
we've done,
it's not like in California where you can see them, right. I mean, like if you want
yeah,
to catch them, Rudy's is great. Of course, the Chet Atkins Festival is great. If you've not
yes.
been there, you want to check that out. And then you've got a gig down in Chattanooga.
Yeah, we're playing at the Barking Legs Theater Saturday, the next weekend,
Yeah.
Saturday, well, 7:30 to 9:30, and then Rudy's Jazz Room the day before, Friday.
So just to let people know that part of the allure of this, other than you got two amazing guitar players, Bruce Foreman is, like I was telling Pat earlier, his propeller spins faster than mine. I just don't know.
Oh yeah, well he's a great teacher too, and he's one of
Oh,
my heroes.
amazing.
He's one of my guitar heroes. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
he's amazing. So you got that all going. I was gonna say Bruce from, but I lost my page, but that's okay. That's okay.
but
So
yeah, a lot
I
of stuff going on.
if I could, believe me, I would. There's no place on the planet I would rather be actually than that camp. I can't do it this year. Hopefully next year. But that doesn't mean you guys out there can't do it. If you got the time and you got the wherewithal, excuse my expression, but get your ass out there because you're
Yes, get your ass out there. We're gonna have a
Get your ass
blast.
out there.
because you're gonna have a great time.
Hang out with us. We're gonna have a ball.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
great. So Bob Bakert with Pat Bergeson and Erin Huttlinger. My computer keeps talking to me. There you go. For the Pete Huttlinger Jazz Camp held in Livingston, Montana, August 4th to the 7th. And you really need to sign up and go and have a great time. You guys have a great day. Thank you for joining me today. I really
Thanks
appreciate
a
it.
lot, Bob.
It's an
Appreciate
honor.
it,
It's
man.
an honor to know you
Support.
guys.
Yeah.
I
You
appreciate
too.
it, Bob. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Bye
All
bye.
right, Aaron, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
All right. See you later.